YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 8 start and sit video for the tight end position. Again, always full PPR, half PPR. If it is any other type of league, hit us up in the comments down below. We'll be able to help you guys out. Reminder, there are no teams on a bye, so you should have really the roster you started with or made some trades with, and hopefully not dealing with any injuries to get you perfect lineups this week. Now, these are your obvious tight ends you should start this week. It's simple, right? Like, these are the guys, no question to ask. Even if they've had a bad game in the past, these guys should be in your lineup. Again, feeling pretty confident that they're going to do well for you. Now, I have 6 tight ends I'm going to mention that should be a start or sit, and of course a sleeper as well. Tight end is the hardest position to always kind of figure out, right? Like, unless you have maybe some of the guys I mentioned in the obvious, it could always be a hit or miss. Now, the first tight end I recommend is going to be Chigo versus the Falcons. Now, I understand he is probably a tight end that is most likely on waivers. You're not even thinking about, probably haven't heard or talked about in forever. And that makes sense, right? The Titans offense does not look great. They haven't been great. They're not passing a lot. And now you've got Tannehill out. I actually think having Tannehill out and putting in the rookie Levis or Malik Willis, I don't know. They're both kind of playing. I'm not really sure what's going on. I think actually benefits Chigo in the fact that he's really going to be a safety valve for them, right? Like, if they're going to have to pass, he should be somebody that has the availability and be able to get a first down or that goal line or whatever the case may be. So I think that helps his value. On top of that, the Falcons are not a great team against the tight end. They're allowing 12 points a game. This is a really good matchup that I think if you're really looking for a boom or bust type of play and you've got a tight end that you're kind of willing to risk putting in, he's probably waivers, he's probably available, and you're desperate, Chigo might be that guy. He might get you that double-digit performance that you're hoping out of your tight end. Now, another tight end I'm going to recommend as a good start is going to be George Kittle. It's going against the Bengals. You're probably starting him anyways, but I understand some of the concern with Brock Purdy being out. Now you've got Sam Darnold in. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. I actually think Sam Darnold is going to actually still add value to George Kittle. They're still missing Deebo Samuel, so really Kittle's going to be the third option, right? It's Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and then George Kittle. Some might say George Kittle, Ayuk. I think Ayuk is probably the second best option for that team. And on top of that, the Bengals aren't great at stopping the tight end. They're allowing 10 points a game, right? Like, this is a matchup that I think the Bengals could struggle stopping him. Kittle can really value in this one, getting those goal line looks, getting, again, that safety valve type of thing that I mentioned with Chigo that I think he can be for Sam Darnold. They're going to make this easy for Sam Darnold to succeed and have hopefully a win against the Bengals. Now, another tight end I like this week is going to be Dallas Goedert versus the Commanders. Now, the first outing, Goedert struggled against the Commanders, only putting up 4.5 points. 2 catches, 25 yards. Simple, that's it. Commanders actually, for the most part, were really good at stopping the tight end. But the last 3 weeks, they've allowed an average of 17 points a game, right? That's crazy to me. So not only allowing a lot of points the last few weeks, on top of that, Dallas Goedert has actually been successful the last 3 weeks. He's averaging 7 targets his way. He's averaging also 17 points a game. So realistically, this matchup just perfect blend right now. Like, this is the perfect scenario for Goedert to actually do well. Devonta Smith's been struggling. A.J. Brown has, of course, been a beast, so he's drawing a lot of attention. Goedert should have, again, success. Am I expecting 17 points? Not necessarily, but definitely that 12 to 15 point range for you. Now, the first tight end I'm going to mention as a sit is going to be Noah Fant versus the Browns. Now, I'm pretty sure you're tired of me talking about the Browns defense, and I get it, but they're a really good defense. Like, they are really good. And right now, Fant does have a tough matchup. Now, most of the times you're probably going to see Fant maybe get that one matchup here or there, or he's get that big play that just helps his fantasy, but he hasn't been great this season. Like, he's not been a great contributor in this receiving offense. And realistically, the offense in general hasn't been great, right? Like, the whole passing offense for the Seahawks have not been anywhere near where they were last year. Browns are also keeping tight ends to 6 points a game. Again, really tough matchup. I'm going to sit Fant if I have him on my team. Another tight end I'm considering sitting is Trey McBride versus the Ravens. Now, I understand the intrigue of putting McBride in my lineup, right? He's now replacing a Zach Ertz who was receiving a lot of targets. Dobbs loved the tight end. He threw to Ertz a lot. So McBride probably is going to be a great value, probably rest of season, right? Like if you're desperate at the tight end position, McBride's definitely a good tight end you should consider grabbing because he's going to see a lot of targets. And who knows what's going on with Kyler Murray, right? Kyler Murray practice, he's not playing, but maybe next week, right? Like we might get him back, which is crazy. So with that said, playing against the Ravens, that's a tough matchup. Ravens are only allowing 29 yards a game, also only allowing 5.6 points. Really tough matchup. I am putting Trey McBride on my bench. Now, another tight end I would sit as well, even though I understand why you're going to play him, is Evan Ingram. Now, Evan Ingram's going against the Steelers. Steelers are actually a really good defense against the tight end. They're only allowing 31 yards a game, 6.8 points a game. They've done a really good job at stopping tight ends so far this season. Now, Evan Ingram, I get why you're going to start him, or at least have to, because of, again, the lack thereof great tight ends in the fantasy world. But I think this is really a lot better matchup for the receivers, Ridley or for Kirk. You know, like those guys I think will actually be successful in this matchup. I think the Steelers linebackers do a really good job. The safeties do a pretty good job, again, at keeping tight ends from being successful. Evan Ingram still might do well. I just feel like this is going to be more of a dud type of game for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he only gets you 6 to 8 points and he just doesn't do enough to help you win this week. So there might be some other options out there. Now for my sleeper, I have actually Hayden Hurst versus the Texans. Now Hayden Hurst is probably on waivers. Get it. He hasn't been great this season. Yeah, I think he had one good game at the beginning and that's it. But the reason why I want to mention that the Texans are not great at stopping tight ends. They're allowing 72 yards a game, about just under 10 points, 9.6 points a game as well to the tight end. This is a good matchup for Hurst to have some success. Now, he's definitely a boom, bust type of risk. Like you have to understand, there's a chance he's going to get you 3 points. But if the thing plays out the way I think it can be for this team and for Hurst itself, I think realistically, add a touchdown, get you 50, 60 yards. He can get you into that 12 to 15 point range. Like I think that's kind of where I think Hurst is going to have some value in this week. Again, I understand he's probably on waivers. You're probably not going to play him anyways, but I just want to mention him because for folks who are streaming tight ends, or maybe you've got a 2 tight end league, or maybe you're a team that, maybe you're out of the league who like gives you half point or a super flex tight end type of position. I like this matchup. I think this is going to be a really good one for him. So those are my start sits and sleepers for the tight end position for week 8. If you guys do have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to answer any lineup questions, maybe doing some trades right before the game start on Sunday. Or of course, you have any other questions, whether it be waivers or something like that, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to help you guys out. If you guys haven't already, check out our other start and sit videos. We've got up a running back, wide receiver, and quarterback to help you guys out with week 8. Man, don't forget, hit that subscribe button while you're here as well and hit that notification bell. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. And again, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit the like button and I'll check you guys out next time.